Straight all day.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What is that? That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is you are the problem. Yes, you are the problem. But at the same time, you're not the problem. And I'll explain what that all means in a minute. First of all, let me tell everybody that I have a daily motivation text message that I send out for free every single day to everyone who's in my text community. It's a message that's guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point. If you would like to receive that message, I see no reason why you would not want to receive such a message. All you have to do is text me at my number. So you're getting this text every single day. My number is 305-384-6894. Send a text to that number right now. And every day when I send out the daily motivation text message, because you are in my text community, because you are on my list, you will be receiving that message. So send a text to that number right now, and that daily motivation will be yours every single day. Now, getting into the subject, you are the problem, but you're not the problem. Definition of a problem is a matter or a situation regarded as unwelcome or harmful and needing to be dealt with and overcome. So, in any circumstance in your life, because all of us have challenges, none of us has a perfect situation in life. We all have some things that we need to deal with, some things that we want to make better, some things that we want to improve, some things that we want to do that we haven't yet done, some things that we probably want to stop having exist that we have not yet gotten rid of. And listen, we are, and this is the part of the extreme ownership that is one of the first what is the first commandment of the work on your game philosophy is extreme ownership, taking ownership of our situation. So even though it doesn't mean you're a bad person to take ownership of the fact that these things exist, it is your responsibility. And therefore, if there's anyone responsible for these circumstances that you want to change in life, is you. You are responsible for these circumstances. Again, doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, doesn't mean you've made any kind of mistake, but you are responsible. Everybody understand what I'm saying. So when I say you are the problem, that's what I mean. I mean that in a kind of like a tongue-in-cheek sort of metaphorical type of way. You're the problem because nobody else is the problem. If we're going to put it on any human being, it's going to be on you. Everybody got that? But at the same time, you're not the problem because it's not like we're going to delete you or eliminate you. You are going to be the one who fixes it as well. So you're the problem as well as the solution. So as I get into these points, you'll understand what I mean here by saying you're the problem is that you're going to take full ownership of the situation, because that's the only way you can have responsibility and the power to change it. And at the same time, we're going to address the underlying issues that have caused this, which is not you as a human being. It's just your approach, your strategies, your mindsets, your accountability, the execution. We're going to fix all of those things so that you can still exist, but the problems will be deleted, or we'll just move you up to higher level problems. That's actually what you want in life. It's not that you want the elimination of problems, that you want higher quality problems. Instead of having $5 problems, you want $5,000 problems, and the $50,000 problems, and the $5 million problems. It's not that the problems will go away, it's just you're gonna have better problems. Everybody follow me? Good, let's get into it. Point number one. Today's topic, once again, is you are the problem, but you're not the problem. Number one, poor strategy or lack of strategy is usually the reason why you have issues. So if you are failing at something, if you are not getting the results that you want at something, if things are just not going the way that you want them to go, it's not because it's not that you are fundamentally wrong as a human being. It just means that your strategy is off, or that you just don't have a strategy. So your strategy, it ain't on. All right, your strategy is not good. Might not be bad. Maybe it just doesn't exist at all. So it's not you, it's your approach. When we change your approach, you can get a different result. This happens with any human being on the planet. A human being can look like a loser, like a failure, a person who is going nowhere and doing nothing. And actually, they don't look like one. This could be the reality of their situation. But if they change their strategy and change their approach and change what they are doing on a consistent basis, because they changed who they were being, all of a sudden they can be getting a completely different set of results, and we can look at this person as a completely different individual. Think of something like Will Smith in the Pursuit of Happiness movie. There was a period in that movie, a long period, where you could look at him and say, this guy looks like a loser. He's homeless, he has nowhere to go, he has a child that he is barely able to take care of. he's behind on his bills and behind on a lot of other things he has going on in life, and he ain't really got nothing going on. But later on in the movie, he was able to get himself a nice job that paid him well. He was able to then catch up on his bills, take care of his kid, move himself into a nice place, and become a very successful, by average measures, by the way most people look at success, he became a very successful individual. What changed? What changed was what he was doing. His executions changed. Maybe did his strategy necessarily change? Well, he was trying to do the right things all along, but until those right things started producing a return, the average person will look at him on the surface, not knowing what was going on underneath, and say, this guy's a loser at this point, but he's a winner at this point, all because it looked like the execution had changed. The results were changing. So the strategy overall, him getting that job and then following whatever that job was telling him to do, he was doing it well enough that they were paying him money and he was getting results. So sometimes just a lack of strategy or a poor strategy is the reason why you appear to be failing, or you actually are failing. Maybe it's an appearance of failure, like in that movie, or you actually are failing, and only you know the truth, or someone who knows the intimate details of what you have going on. In the end, let's remember we're in a results-based business, though, so you're going to be judged based on the results that people can see, not on what's going on underneath the surface. So understand that you're not the problem, but you are the problem because you were the one who came up with this trashy strategy that is not working in the first place. Again, those of you who are new around here, understand that yes, I am putting this on you, but at the same time, I'm taking it off of you. So when I say you're the one who came up with the trashy strategy, I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. You are the one who came up with the trash strategy. It doesn't mean you need to go kill yourself. What it means is we just need to fix the strategy. All right, and then you'll be the one who came up with the winning strategy and you'll be getting all the credit. This is what ownership looks like, folks. This is what extreme ownership means. It means that when things are not going well, all of it's on you. And when things are going great, guess what? All of it's on you. All right, so you take both sides of this. All right, this is the objectivity that has become controversial these days, that a lot of people don't like hearing these kind of things. There was an email that I sent out a couple, well, it depends on where you are in my email sequence. Everybody gets stuff at different times. But there was an email that I sent out where I was taking some reviews that people had left in my book, Work on Your Game, which has recently actually been translated into Chinese. So any of you who can read traditional Chinese, the book Work on Your Game has been translated. If you're watching this on video, here's a copy of this is the Chinese version of Work on Your Game. I didn't design this cover, so they had this cover. I guess basketball is very popular in China. I do know that for a fact. There's a lot of my YouTube videos have been pirated and uploaded onto the Chinese version of YouTube. And as a matter of fact, my videos have been viewed on YouTube, the Chinese version of YouTube, probably, because it's like a multiple of more people living in China than there are in the United States. And basketball is super popular over there. My content has been viewed probably 5 to 10 more times at least in China than it has even in the United States, but I can't track it because I can't read Chinese. But anyway, this is the Work on Your Game version this is the Chinese version of Work on Your Game. But I was going over some reviews that people have left of my book, Work on Your Game, reviews on Amazon, which all of you can go and plainly see. And there was this woman who had left a review and she trashed the book. She gave it like a 1 or 2 star review. And she was saying, most of the reviews are not 1 and 2 stars. The average review is probably about 4.5. I think I got like a 4.8 on Amazon. But this 2-star review, this woman was saying that this guy uses the word "you" a lot in the book. And she was saying, well, the book comes off as he's being very accusatory and he's pointing the finger at the reader a little too much. It was too much for her comfort. Even though I don't know this person, the book is written as a self-help book. So the whole purpose of self-help is for me to talk to the self, which is you, the reader, to give you what you need. Of course, we're going to use the word "you" a lot because that's the only way I can help you. That's especially when I'm doing it in a generic way, such as in a book, where I'm not talking to one individual person, but I'm talking to the reader. And there are certain people who simply can't take that kind of conversation, and they probably wouldn't be a listener to this type of masterclass, like the Work on Your Game masterclass. But anyway, it was in episode 1800 where I told you how objectivity became the new controversy. So to objectively point out to a person, listen, you came up with this trash strategy, and this strategy is trash and it's not working, so you're responsible for it. Some people bristle at the fact that I even make a statement like that. There's some of you listening to this right now that makes you uncomfortable that I even said that. You need to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because until you take ownership of the situation being what it is, we can't fix it. And understanding in the very next sentence, with the right strategy, You can work harder, be more focused, and you'll be more motivated because you are getting more results. You're getting more and better results. The challenge is, first of all, we got to get the right strategy in place, and then those things come as a byproduct, or they become easier to achieve simply because your strategy is helping you produce results. And any human being on the planet will easily be more focused, more motivated, and give better effort when they know that their efforts are actually producing the desired outcomes. Okay, this applies to everybody, regardless of your normal baseline levels of effort, motivation, focus, and hard work. When you know that you're getting results from your efforts, it's easier to give more effort and more sustained effort. This applies to everyone. Point number 2. Today's topic again is you are the problem, but at the same time, you are not the problem. Number 2, the reason why people don't come up with proper or better strategies for achieving outcomes in their lives is because putting a strategy in place is not always so easy. Putting a strategy in place requires work, time, effort. These are things that people simply don't want to invest regardless of what they say. And a lot of times people don't want to do this, not because people just don't want to work hard or they don't want to be successful. It's because people kind of don't have an idea of exactly what to do or how to do it. And this is one of the main reasons why people fail to be strategic in their efforts in life, simply because they don't know how to do it. They don't know where to begin, and it's just so confusing for people on what to do when it comes to building a strategy that they'd rather just not do it, and they just stick to what they do understand. Most people just do things that are within their comfort zone of understanding, and most people understand the concept of just work hard, work harder, harder, and hope that things work out. And then when that doesn't work, they have no alternatives because they don't know how to be strategic. But that's where a person like myself, when I asked you what is your reason for existing in the marketplace. That was episode number 2162. My reason for existing in the marketplace, one of them is that I can help people get strategic about what you are doing. Basically create a roadmap in reverse for how you are achieving your outcomes. And since a lot of people don't know how to do that or what to do with it, that's the void that I'm filling in the marketplace. I'm not just adding on to something that already exists in a whole bunch of other places. There are some places where I am doing that, and there are some places where I'm not. And you should know what your reason for existing is. Listen to episode 2162 if you have not already. So what a lot of people do, because they don't understand how to create a strategy, is they stick to what they're comfortable with, which is, again, put in more hard work, be more motivated, more focused. Now, again, the things that people generally understand, or at least they think they do. Coming up with a strategy that works will require anyone who does it to sacrifice some of your sacred cows. In other words, take some of your long-held beliefs and eliminate them, delete them. That's what it requires to really be strategic. And it's going to require you making some qualitative changes, like we talked about in episodes 2228 and 2229. And those qualitative changes are going to, by definition, push you outside of your comfort zone. They're going to make you do some things that you otherwise wouldn't want to do. It may also require you to listen to and take in some information that you otherwise would not pay attention to. You're going to have to go and maybe go to some places that you otherwise wouldn't go to because, again, they're not things that you would normally do. But again, when we're making qualitative changes, that's the point. You want to do some things you wouldn't normally do. That's how a qualitative change happens. So it may require you to throw away some of your own bright ideas. You might think you have some good ideas, but we're going to delete those ideas, or at least we're going to put them in the closet for a while and focus on these other ideas over here. And while all of these things are easily doable, everything that I just said there, all of you understand the concept of them. Doesn't mean you necessarily do them, but you understand the concept. They're all doable, but they're also uncomfortable for people because, again, it's pushing you outside of your normal mode of operation. So what happens with many people when they are confronted with possibilities that are outside of their normal modes of operation, they find a way to not do them. They find a way to get away from them. And this is the reason why I said in the title, you are the problem, because you don't want to make these qualitative changes, but you're not the problem because the qualitative changes are not you as a person. The qualitative changes are just things that you as a person need to do. And when we can get those aligned, that's when things can start to change. Point number 3. Today's topic again is you are the problem, but you are not the problem. Number 3, you are the problem because you must take ownership of the situation. I think, again, you understand this. Whether or not you're willing to do it. You understand it logically, but are you willing to emotionally take ownership of your situation? And here at Work on Your Game, understand, you must take full ownership of your situation. This is one of the 12 Work on Your Game commandments, that you must take full ownership of your situation. If you didn't hear the episode on the Work on Your Game commandments, that was episode number 2219 through 2222. I broke it down into 4 episodes, and it's actually 13 commandments. So episodes 2219 through 2222 is where I give the 12 Work on Your Game commandments. So if you don't know what they are, you should know. Go listen to those episodes right there. So you got to take full ownership of your situation, especially when you are not the one who actually created the situation. This is really where ownership comes in. See, it's one thing to take ownership of something that you did and you 100% have been the one doing it the entire time. So if you are out of shape physically, you're the one who, nobody ate any food on your behalf, right? You ate all the food. You're the one who didn't go to the gym. You're the one who slept in late. You're the one who's been, eating fried chicken and French fries and candy and ice cream when you could have been eating fruits and vegetables and drinking water and eating spinach. You did that, so you had to take 100% ownership over that. It's easy for people to take ownership over those kind of things if they're being honest with themselves. What's harder to take ownership over are things that you didn't even create the situation, but you still have to fix the situation, and you got to take responsibility for the situation. For example, if you're running a business, if you run an office, or you run a brick and mortar store, or you have staff who work for you and they made some mistakes, but your name is on the door and the customers are coming to you about the issue that they created, you taking ownership of that is a little bit harder, simply because you're not the one who caused it, but now you got to own it and now you got to deal with it. That's a little bit harder for some people. Or if you come from a certain neighborhood, or you come from a certain family, or some circumstance that you're not the one who did it and caused the situation to be what it is, but now you got to fix it, you got to handle it, you got to deal with it, you got to build it from where it is to where you want to take it, and you're not the reason why it is where it is. That's a little bit harder for a lot of people, and a lot of people would rather abdicate from that responsibility than take it on. But the people who are willing to take it on, that's the 2%. All right, that's the small percentage of people who become the difference makers in life, because they're willing to take on something that was not their doing, but they're going to take ownership. The question is, who in this audience, who is one of those people? Those are the people I want to work with. Those are the people that I want to talk to. Those are the people who I want to deal with. You are not the problem, because it's not that you need to fundamentally change who you are as a human being to get the outcome you want. But what does need to change is your approach to the process that you are following in order to get to your desired outcome. This may require a change in your thinking patterns, and your unwillingness to do this exactly may be the problem. Your unwillingness to change how you think, and your unwillingness to change your perspective on a situation. You're willing to change that, we can change anything. Willing to change your mindset and the way you think about things, anything can change. But when you're unwilling to change your mindset, you're unwilling to change who you are being, because mindset is rooted in your thought process and the way you see yourself and the way you look at situations, your paradigms. Those are basically the glasses through which you see life. If you're unwilling to change that, then a lot of things are going to pretty much stay as they are. So you just need to look at your life and decide, all right, is that okay or is it not? I can't answer that, but you can. Let's recap today's class, which is, you are the problem, but you're not the problem. Number 1, poor strategy or lack thereof is usually the reason why anyone is failing. It is not you personally, it is just your approach. But a lot of times when you tell people that their approach is off, they take that as a personal personal attack on them. I say, all right, your strategy is just crap. They say, well, you said my strategy is crap, so that means I'm crap. No, that's not what it means. I said your strategy is crap. I didn't say you, I said the strategy. Now, you created the strategy, take ownership of that. But I didn't say you personally. And if you can't separate those two ideas, then I'm probably not the person that is going to be you're not going to be able to work with me, because I'm not going to go through that kind of explanation every time I have to tell you something. All right, so if that kind of thing bothers you, or that's the kind of thing that needs to be said to you every time somebody tells you something that you did or created is not working, then you need to go find a different person to work with. Challenge is, we got to get the right strategy in place first, and then all the other things that you want come as a byproduct. Point number 2. Reason people don't come up with proper or better strategies is simply because they don't know how to do it, so they just focus on the things they're comfortable with, like hard work and motivation. Coming up with a strategy requires work that may mean you sacrificing some sacred cows, challenging some long-held beliefs, and basically getting out of your comfort zone. And a lot of people never get out of their comfort zones in life, so they become a certain type of person, and they stay that person for all of their lives, not because they can't change, but because they don't know how, and they're unwilling to step into the unknown. A lot of people don't want to step into the unknown in life. And point number 3, you're the problem because you got to take ownership of your situation. A lot of people simply don't want to take ownership of their situations, or they take it as a personal affront when you tell them that the situation is their responsibility, or you tell them that something that they produced is simply not working. They take that as a personal attack on their character or as who they are as a person, when that's not the point at all. What needs to change is your approach to and the process you're following in order to get to where you want to get to, because your approach ain't working. We know your approach is not working. That's why you're in the situation that you're in. If you can't take ownership of that, then we can't fix anything. Neither can you. I can't, you can't, nobody can. But as soon as you take ownership, now we at least are on the track. We at least have an opportunity to do something different. With all that said, I want you to send me a text message right now so you can get my daily motivation every single day straight to your phone. My number is 305-384-6894. And you may be wondering, well, Dre, how do I get into this system that you keep talking about, these processes, and how do I actually apply this? And is there a way that I can have you help me do this? The answer is, well, I'll tell you how to get into the system. Is there a way for you to get into these processes and have me help you do it? The answer is, of course. There is, because I wouldn't set myself up with that question if there wasn't an answer. And you do that by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's where you can get into my Work on Your Game system. It is a 9-part framework that goes through a detailed process of a lot of what we talked about here today in a bigger picture idea. I show you exactly how it works. I take you through an entire course of how it works. I coach you for 4 weeks on how to actually apply it to your specific situation. And I mean, I don't need to sell you any harder on that, but I will. If you just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, you can read it all in writing, because you'll believe what you see in writing more than what you hear. So go there, get all the information, and get into the system so you can get coached directly by me. That's at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all